everyone, and welcome to another movie review by Cinepede Geek and Ash. Today we're going to talk about our thoughts and opinions upon a film by the name of 300: Rise of an Empire. As I'm sure most of you know, this film is actually a sequel, or sort of a prequel sequel, whatever you want to call it. Once you see it, you understand what I'm saying. To the film titled 300 that came out, directed by Zack Snyder, that came out, years ago. And pretty much it's kind of a prequel. It starts off as a prequel, and then later on becomes kind of a sequel, and it takes place at the same time. Anyways, it kind of gives a backstory to Xerxes. It's pretty much about, these people. I believe it's a war between two different people, and I mean it's pretty much a big action film. There is some backstory there, but it's pretty much a big action film between the Persians and the. Do you remember the other race? There's the Persians and the I can't remember the other one. Persians. You don't remember? Persians and the other people.
It just bugged me.
It makes sense, yeah. And I think some scenes like that were meant to, like the one where the sex scene is one of the scenes we could talk about.
Yeah,
the sex scene
is just ridiculous.
I will say that sex scene is pretty
ridiculous.
Spoilers coming up.
Stupid.
That sex scene, it was kind of goofy, but I think right. I think it was meant to be because the two guys in the mask or whatever, the two guys in those masks,
yeah,
they looked at each other. I think it was meant to be.
Well,
because it had that kind of vibe to it.
There's a way to make it like over the top and funny in a good way, and this just came off over the top, stupid in a bad way.
Yeah. So why do you think that it wasn't as good as that first one?
I don't know. I don't really know what I was expecting with this sequel. I don't know.
I thought it was pretty solid, in all honesty.
I mean, yeah, it is pretty solid, and I like the backstories of Xerxes.
That was really cool. That was one of my favorite things about it. Yeah.
Cool.
Showing how Xerxes became Xerxes, the gold, and shaving his head.
Yeah.
We never found that out in the first one, but in this one, we're giving a backstory to Xerxes. We find out why his sister hates him. How she got control over him. You're giving some backstories to both villains. I thought the girl villain was kind of cool. I liked her character quite a bit. I thought her character was pretty cool. I will say this one doesn't really have as many sort of quotable lines as the first one did. The only one I can think of is the whole when he says, I believe he says metal somewhere in there, and he says, we'll use our metal, something like that. There wasn't as many.
Yeah, he's talking about like the shields and the armor.
Yeah, there weren't as many quotable lines as there was in the first movie. But I will say, action-wise, I thought this one was just as solid as the first one. There was plenty of action scenes. Yeah, all the blood CGI. It's meant to be. That's the way the first film was.
But some of the blood still looked different. I know it's CGI, but
higher or maybe a lower budget. I'm not really for sure what the budget of the film was. But I mean, I thought the film was pretty solid. I thought it was pretty good. It had lots of great action. I thought as a film, it kind of stood on its own. It kind of had a different vibe to it than the first one did. I stood on its own ground. It had some backstory. It had.
Yeah.
I thought the camera angles were quite a bit different than the first film. Some people may say it kind of recycled stuff. I think I kind of disagree with that. I think it kind of used a different sort of kind of swift. I thought the camera angle was kind of swift. The way it kind of zoomed around, him cutting people up, and most of the film actually takes place on ships. I don't know if you noticed that, like they're fighting on ships, and canals and stuff like that. So as a whole, what do you think? 1 out of 10.
7.
7? I give it a solid 8. So I think it was a pretty solid movie. I don't really have any complaints with that. I mean, there wasn't really nothing I didn't like about it that I really had a problem with. Overall, it's pretty solid. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Lots of great action, lots of great gore, and there's some nice little backstory there too, to kind of give the. I mean, it's not one of those amazing films, but I still think it's a decent tribute to the movies. Any last thoughts on that? Well, that's our review of the film titled 300: Rise of an Empire. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to our page below, and we'll see you guys later with more videos.